be a little bit shorter than yesterday. Hopefully everybody that attended today for the tech session yesterday thought it was a good one. Had a few comments that might have ran a little bit long, but I think how we ended up today was pretty good. So how it's going to go today is that we're going to do our call into business in the morning, and then in the afternoon we're going to go on and do some presentation, or have some other presentations and some more competency alright. Just hold it. Sorry about that. Okay, so the first order of business is that we're going to have a presentation from Craig Armstrong, President and CEO of Northwestern Forest Products and the Forest Products Association of Canada. And it's going to be dealing with the forest product industry and an industry on the move. Craig Armstrong is President and Chief Executive Officer of Northwestern, privately held forest company headquartered in Edmonton, Alberta, operating a pulp mill, 3 sawmills, and associated woodlands divisions in Whiteport, Boyle, Fox Creek that directly employ more than 600 people. Northwestern is Alberta's largest provincially based forest products business. Craig has more than 35 years of experience in the forest sector. Before joining Northwestern in 1987 as Director of Sales and Marketing, he held positions in Canadian forest companies such as Sanan, Natwick Pulp and Paper, and Prince Albert Pulp Co. With Northwestern, Craig was appointed Senior Vice President, Marketing in 1994, Executive Vice President in 1998, and Chief Operating Officer in 2006. He was named the company's President and CEO in 2010. Craig sits on the Northwestern Board of Directors and is a member of the board of the Forest Products Association of Canada and serves on the Executive Committee of the Alberta Forest Products Roadmap process. Craig is based at Northwestern's head office in Edmonton, where he resides with his wife, Kathy. I'd like you to put your hands together and welcome Craig up to the stage.
Thank you very much, Pat, and a pleasure to be here this morning. David Lindsay. David Lindsay, who's the president of the Forest Products Association of Canada, was originally slated to speak this morning, but unfortunately his schedule was unable to accommodate this morning, so he's asked me to step in. And I can assure you I'm a poor second choice, but you'll have to take me because I'm all that's available. I just wanted to comment when Pat said I reside at the head office in Edmonton with my wife. I don't actually reside there. I work there, but I do.
Well, that's what it says. It says where he resides with his wife.
I kind of get into publicity. Let me say that what I'd like to do this morning is talk a little bit about the state of our industry, then talk about what Vision 2020 is all about, the initiative of the Forest Products Association of Canada. I'm going to take the liberty of piggybacking some work that we're doing here in Alberta on the Alberta Forest Roadmap process that's really similar to what the Vision 2020 process is, but it's somewhat unique in Alberta. And then talk a little bit about the future of your profession, or at least the future of the industry and how it might affect your profession. So first, a few words about the company I work for. I'll skip through this slide because Pat did a great job of saying everything that I was going to say about this on the slide, but suffice to say that we are among the largest Alberta-based forest product companies in the province. We're privately held. We continue to be owned by the Miller family. We have the 3 operations, operating areas: Whiteport, Boyle, and our newest mill in Fox Creek. Whiteport's the site of both the pulp mill and our integrated sawmill. We employ over 600 people per year. The other comment I would make is that Northwestern has had a history of implementing leading-edge technology and developing new products and markets. We've often said that we'd like to be on the leading edge, not the leading edge of technology. We led the way in developing the acceptance of part of the CAPFT pulse. In fact, when we started the mill in Whiteport in 1988, there was virtually no product of its type being marketed in the world. We went out there and developed the market, and we were acknowledged as pioneers and leaders in the development of that product. We also built the world's first liquid zero effluent pulp mill in Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. When we announced that we were going to do this, I think half the world said it can't be done, the other half of the world said we hope it can't be done, because if it is, it will become the standard against which all our mills are measured. Well, in fact, we proceeded forward, we built the mill, it has been successful in its 20 years of operation, and it indeed became sort of the technological standard for treatment of effluent out of the chemical CAPFT type mill. We've recently, or at least in this last 10 years, we built our Whiteport sawmill in 2002, and we've just finished completion of a rebuild of our Fox Creek sawmill, which started up in 2011. So, in addition to that, we are presently in the process of installing new technology at our pulp mill in Whiteport. It's an anaerobic digestation system that we've implemented on our effluent treatment system, where we extract organics from the liquid waste system and convert that into bioenergy. So the company has, I think, deservedly developed a reputation as being technologically innovative and willing to look at things in a different way and slightly outside the box. We turn to the Alberta forest industry. Alberta is forest products industry is the third largest industry in the province after energy and agriculture. It's a vital economic and environmental driver for more than 50 Alberta communities. It generates jobs for 20,000 workers and produces billions of dollars of goods and services annually. It does compete on a global stage. Our products are shipped around the world, not just to North America, but to Asia and Europe and the Americas as well. It's a green industry. Thanks in large part to the good work of members of this college, our industry has earned an excellent environmental reputation and is recognized internationally for its forest stewardship. All the certified forests in the world, 42% of them are here in Canada. As a result of solid management practices and stringent regulation, we've retained over 90% of our original forest cover. These and other environmental credentials play an increasingly important role in selling our products, particularly to markets like Europe, that demand goods made to the highest environmental standards. But more than that, I think it also serves as well in maintaining our social license here on the land base in Alberta and across the country. So we can be very proud, I think, of the environmental record that this industry has achieved. Sunset or sunrise? Well, I think it's no surprise to anyone in this room that the forest industry has been through some pretty tough times in the last 3 or 4 years. And that's particularly true on the solid wood side. Pulp has fared somewhat better during those times. It had an initial significant setback in 2008, but has recovered nicely in 9 through 12. It's starting to see a bit of a fall down now in its portion. But the lumber side of the business has been extremely difficult. We're through, we think now we're through the worst of the economic downturn and are looking to much stronger markets and brighter prospects ahead. That's, as I say, especially true for our lumber sector where we see the U.S. housing market turn the corner. We've made inroads into new growth markets like China and India. And on the supply side, we're anticipating reduced output from British Columbia due to lower annual allowable cuts resulting from the devastation of lawn and pine beetle in that region. And we also think that in Eastern Canada, with some of the annual allowable cut reductions that we've seen, that again, the Canadian industry from the supply side is not likely to be able to respond to the increasing demand as it was able to do in the early part of the decade. So that sort of demand-supply balance ahead of us, we think we're going to see a significant improvement in pricing of the lumber products and therefore of the portions of the industry. But while many of us are bullish on the sector's future, we realize that we need to do a better job of making others aware of our industry's potential. This is important for many reasons, not the least of which are the need to ensure government policies, land use and other areas are supportive, and also the need to attract a new generation of workers into our industry. We also recognize that our industry needs to develop new strategies that better align our activities with the changing marketplace and that take advantage of emerging technologies. And there's a lot of them out there. Our goal is to dispel any notion that this is a sunset industry. On the contrary, we see our industry as a sunrise industry, high-tech, dynamic, responsible, progressive, and really brimming with opportunity. To undertake this mission at a national level, the industry launched a rebranding effort, Vision 2020, and in the provincial side, the Alberta Roadmap. On the national level, the rebranding effort led by the Forest Products Association of Canada is called Vision 2020. And there are 5 major challenges that we've identified that we believe our industry is facing. The first is the demand shift, and that's a shift, for example, in demand for newsprint, from the press or the competition from the digital industry. There's been production shifts where we've seen the paper production move from the more established, developed economies of North America and Western Europe, to where the paper is now being produced, and the new developing grades of paper are now being produced in Asia. We've seen technology shifts where the developments in the use of hardwood pulps, for example, to replace softwoods. We've seen virgin fibers being replaced with recycled or recovered fiber. We've seen the incredible increase in use and demand for eucalyptus fibers out of South America. And on the solid wood side, of course, we continue to compete with cement and growing inroads by the steel sector. There's been wood supply shifts. It's been affected by climate, by natural disturbances such as the mountain pine beetle, and in some provinces by changes to tenure policy. It's also being pressured by competing land uses, including expansion of other resource industries, requirements arising from the bioeconomy, and social demands to conserve land for habitat protection. And then finally, economic performance. Our industry's economic performance in the last few years has been lackluster and has lagged behind our global competitors. Of course, that makes it extremely difficult to attract capital into the province when your returns have been as bad as they have been. Now, as mentioned, while the outlook is improving, the industry is keenly aware of the urgent need to transform both its operations and its business model. So what's our response? Well, tough economic times will result in a slow rebuild, but we need to transform to a leaner and greener industry. The Forest Products Association has taken a 4-pillar approach to the industry transformation, and it is indeed an objective to transform this industry. It has urged greater productivity and competitiveness with real results. Our industry is now more competitive, more productive than other manufacturing sectors in Canada, and more productive than our American counterparts. That's demonstrated through statistical analysis. In fact, I would suggest that our industry has probably increased productivity more than any other industry in Canada in the last 10 years. We've successfully diversified our markets. Most significant has been the rise of sales of lumber into China. That's the one of which you're probably most aware. But there have also been new growth opportunities in India, and we've expanded the product range that we're offering out into the world markets. It's earned a world-leading environmental credentials, an achievement we are leveraging to capture greater market share. And finally, we're aiming to extract more value from every tree harvested by adding to our core businesses the production of bioenergy, biochemicals, and biomaterials. All of these initiatives help rebuild the industry. To maintain this momentum, however, CAPFT determined that the industry needed to deliver a message of growth and optimism to a wider audience. So, CAPFT launched Vision 2020. And really what it says is by 2020, the Canadian forest products industry will power Canada's new economy by being green, innovative, and open to the world. It's a place to grow and prosper. Key to the vision is 3 ambitious goals in the areas of performance, products, and people. When it comes to environmental performance, the Canadian forest products industry is aiming for a further 35% improvement in areas like GHG emissions, water use, and energy use. We want to do this by the end of the decade. When it comes to products, the industry is hoping to generate an additional $20 billion in economic activity by 2020. And when it comes to people, the goal is to recruit at least 60,000 new workers in that time frame. If we look at environmental performance, Canadian forest products industry has already made enormous progress. In addition to being a leader in independent forest certification, the industry spearheaded the Canadian Boreal Forest Agreement, an unprecedented initiative that joins forest companies with environmental groups to collaborate on ways to conserve both the environment and forest communities and jobs. You may have seen the CBFA in the news recently, as a couple of national organizations have recently left the agreement. We do regret their departure, but I think the impatience reflected in these departures is in fact a reflection of the very ambitious scope of the agreement. Industries and NGOs are working side by side together with Aboriginal groups, communities, and governments to implement real changes on the ground that will protect the environment and the economic values while respecting existing rights and jurisdictions. That's a tall order, and programming has come more slowly than any of us wanted or expected. But it's coming, and companies like ours, Northwestern, and others are continuing to work hard to make this thing happen. It's going to take longer than we had all hoped, but it is truly a complex undertaking that if we can achieve some success will be a first and internationally groundbreaking effort. Now this slide also shows the impressive progress the Canadian forest industry has already made in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and energy use and in cutting air and water contaminants. I mean, it really does have, we really do have, I should say, a record that we can be proud of, and we need to communicate it better than we have. However, we're not going to sit on our laurels and say that's enough. We're setting our sights on doing even more. CAPFT has identified 12 parameters where the industry will attempt to further reduce its environmental footprint by more than a third by 2020, starting from the 2010 baseline. Each parameter will be weighed equally. This includes further progress in greenhouse gas emissions, energy and water use, recycling, air contaminants, waste forest management practices, and curative action plans. These are all measurable. There's a matrix that we have developed. I won't go through it with you today, but they're all set against measurable measurements that we can look at today on a baseline basis to compare by 2020 that we haven't achieved a 35% reduction. In terms of products, the goal is to add $20 billion in economic activity by 2020 on top of a baseline of $53 billion. That's almost a 40% increase in our contribution as an industry to the Canadian economy. It won't be easy, but forest products companies across the country are actively exploring emerging opportunities in the new bioenergy economy. CAPFT recently led a study together with FT Innovations called Biopathways that identified the economic advantages of supplementing the traditional manufacturing base with production of bioenergy, biochemicals, and biomaterials. In many instances, this involves turning a waste stream into a revenue stream, and is an example of what we are doing up in White Park with our bioenergy project. In terms of new product development, Canada is leading the way in exploring innovative new uses of wood, such as nanocrystalline cellulose, a substance extracted from woody biomass that can be used in everything from cosmetics, car parts, to bone replacements, to electronics. It's truly an exciting new frontier for our industry. Now, it's not going to be a huge volume business, but it has the potential to be an incredibly high value business for us. The overall goal is clear: to extract as much value as possible from every tree we harvest. It's important to emphasize that the potential for these diversified, value-added streams will continue to be based on an the economics of producing our fundamental traditional products. In other words, these are add-ons. They don't replace the things we're doing today. Panel board, pulp, paper, lumber, that's the foundation of our industry. These will be bolt-on or add-on value-added propositions. CAPFT followed up its original Biopathways study with a construction value pathways report. This one aims specifically at lumber producers. The goal is to find ways to take advantage of the enormous global construction market. The report was unveiled in February, and it talks about the need for forest companies to work more intimately with players in the construction industry, including architects and designers, and to explore more vigorously opportunities in the prefab and modular markets. CAPFT is now working with its members and government officials to implement the findings. For those of you who are interested, more information on this particular initiative is available on the FPAC website. And then the third area was the people goal, and that's to recruit at least 60,000 or more workers by 2020. You know, of that number, 40,000 will be needed just to replace retiring workers in our industry, while at least 20,000 more will be required to help our industry realize new opportunities related to the bioeconomy. To meet this goal, we are hoping to draw from the ranks of all Canadians, including women, Aboriginals, and newcomers. And in fact, some of the projections have indicated that we can achieve some of the product growth development opportunities that we see in front of us. That 60,000 could easily become 100,000. According to a recent FPAC member survey, and you can see the results on the screen, companies have reported vacancies in a number of areas, but nowhere is the need more urgent than in the categories of general labor and woodlands, a finding that spells opportunity, certainly for all of you in this room. Hiring 60,000 new recruits will be challenging, given the widely reported skill shortage in this country. And unfortunately, the paper or the forest products industry has to compete with industries whose pockets are a little bit deeper than ours. And this has forced us to be more creative. That's why FPAC recently launched the Greenest Workforce, a recruitment initiative that stresses the green aspects of our industry. It seeks to convey to young people who are either about to enter the workforce or are looking for a career path that, first, the forest resource upon which our industry is based is renewable. Second, that the industry boasts strong environmental credentials. And thirdly, that the industry offers quality of life benefits, such as the opportunity to live in small mill towns with access to the great outdoors, no camps, no commuting required. The campaign is about appealing to the younger generation by stressing the abundance of good quality jobs in an industry that you can feel good about. At the center of the program is a new website, greenestworkforce.ca. It serves as a resource for students, parents, and teachers, providing information on different career paths and the educational requirements for each. It also involved a contest that invited students to submit video applications to YouTube for a chance to win internships with forest products companies across the country. I'm proud to say that we at Northwestern offered 2 of those internships. And they also had a chance to compete for a $5,000 scholarship. The take-up on the program is really impressive. Our recruits have been selected, and as part of the internship, we will be blogging about their work experiences, so be sure to follow them on our website starting next month. That's the Northwestern website, northwestern.com. So to the future. Forest products industry has its eyes set firmly on the future, all in an effort to set one of Canada's oldest industries apart as one of its most progressive. So as I mentioned, in addition to the Vision 2020 at the national level, Northwestern is also part of a provincial rebranding effort called the Alberta Forest Roadmap. The Provincial Roadmap Initiative is a collaborative effort between industry and government, and that's perhaps the biggest single difference between Vision 2020 and the roadmap. Vision 2020 is solely an industry initiative. The roadmap process is a true partnership between government and industry. We're working together to chart a strong future course for Alberta's forest sector. Its themes and directions have a great deal in common with Vision 2020, but the roadmap focuses on challenges and opportunities unique to our province here in Alberta. The roadmap participants are working to achieve strong, healthy forests, prosperity, progress, and long-term viability in Alberta's forest product industry, and enhanced contributions to rural communities and the province at large. Well, why do we need 2 rebranding efforts? We see both as vital and complementary. From a regulatory perspective, we are facing challenges that fall within the federal and provincial jurisdictions. We need to engage stakeholders on both fronts to ensure our industry's opportunities are well understood and supported. So the roadmap vision is this. You can read it up there also. I won't read it for you. Alberta will be recognized as the place to do business for the forest products sector in North America. Secondly, the government of Alberta policies and practices will be recognized for encouraging the use and growth of traditional and non-traditional products from the province's forests. And the forest product sector will be widely acknowledged in Alberta as the greenest industry in the province, an economic driver based on a renewable resource providing needed stability and diversity to the province. To be successful, we've identified that we must base all of our efforts on 4 basic pillars: innovation, growth, stability, sustainability, and most importantly, solutions. We need to innovate to find new ways of making new products and finding new markets. We need to grow the industry and the economic impact and employment it generates. We need to maintain and enhance this renewable resources sector's long-term sustainability. And finally, we need to find lasting and effective solutions to the industry-specific challenges the sector has faced in recent years, from workforce challenges to transportation challenges. As far as governance is concerned, as I mentioned, it's been jointly developed by industry and government, but it also involves research and development agencies and academics. It has strong support at the senior levels of government. I can tell you that Premier Redford is solidly behind it, and it moves on down from there. There's an executive committee that is co-chaired by the Environment and Sustainable Resource Minister Diana McQueen and Hank Ketchum, the chairman of West Fraser. I sit on this committee along with 4 other industry CEOs. Reporting to us are 2 steering committees, one focused on wood products and bioenergy, and the other on pulp paper. Under the direction of the steering committee, 8 task groups are working to develop concrete solutions to sector challenges. Each task group, and here they are listed for you, has identified key priorities and developed action plans to move these issues forward. Again, the initiative is solutions-based and results-oriented. I won't go through all these priorities, but I'd like to touch on a couple that I think might be of interest to you. First is access to fiber. It's critical that despite competing land uses and the need to balance many different social objectives, we maintain a secure and dependable fiber supply, keep our mills running, our people employed, and our market satisfied. Our objective is to work closely with government to sustain annual cut levels, and even through measures like enhanced forest management practices, to increase the amount of timber we can grow and sustainably harvest on a land base. And the second one that I'll focus in on is the skill shortage referred to in Vision 2020, and it's nowhere more apparent than here in Alberta. We're asking, among other things, that the province renew a workforce strategy for Alberta's forest industry, previously developed by the Alberta government, and allocate additional funding for Worthwhile, the industry's very successful workforce recruitment campaign that has been very successful in delivering our recruitment messages to the schools throughout the province. I might mention that each of these committees is populated with representatives of the industry and also representatives of government. So they do bring together, again, the government and the industry perspectives in these very important areas. Another roadmap priority is to leverage the experience and expertise of our foresters in the areas of responsible, integrated land management, and to promote these ecosystem management services to government and other sectors to ensure that decisions affecting the future of our forests are science-based and driven by forest professionals. The forest sector is already working with the energy sector and other users of the land base to reduce our collective environmental footprint through shared road agreements and similar agreements on the use of smaller seismic lines. So there is a recognition on the industry's part that we're not alone on the land base, but we do think that we have expertise within our industry to be a driving force behind the integrated land use management process. And there's other opportunities to expand the forest industry's role in land use planning and reclamation across the land base, and to potentially actually generate additional revenues for our industry by applying our expertise. So the roadmap represents a new way of doing business for the Alberta forest product sector, one that will help ensure the long-term viability of the sector and the rural communities that depend on it, and to secure the socio-economic and environmental benefits generated by this industry. Again, ours is a sunrise industry with tremendous opportunities for growth based on green credentials, global market expansion, new innovative and diversified products, and collaborative partnerships with other sectors. Sector growth and diversification will increase hiring opportunities for a broad range of skills, especially yours. I hope this presentation has accomplished at least a work that is being undertaken on both the national and provincial fronts to secure a prosperous future for the forest products industry. I can tell you that I don't know that there's been a time in our history, in this industry, where there's been more attention given to the need for transformation and getting our message out than we have right now among the CEOs and the leaders of this industry. I hope we've made you aware of the emerging markets and products and opportunities this industry has in front of it. It truly is a globally competitive industry. It's got tremendous opportunity to develop new products. The Chinese results in terms of lumber demand and use are only, we think, the tip of the iceberg so far. There's a lot of really exciting stuff we can do on the lumber side and on the pulp side. Again, the nanocrystalline cellulose technologies is one example of how the industry is moving to entirely new fronts in terms of the technology that it's bringing to bear. And I kind of hope it's fueled your enthusiasm for the sector if that was required in the first place. I think we've been pretty enthusiastic about the sector before I got here. To attain many of the objectives we set for ourselves will require the knowledge, skills, and expertise that members of the college of yours bring to the table. At Miller Western, we employ members in many aspects of our business. And indeed, I should mention that it's interesting. We have two individuals who are foresters by background who have come up through the ranks and are now, one's now heading up our pulp sales group. The other was our head of lumber sales and is now actually recently moved over to the pulp sales group. So certainly the background that you folks bring to the table is one that our company certainly has appreciated and has learned that can lead and be useful in areas other than just simply the narrow field of forest management. We also would like to call upon you to assist us in attracting new people into our industry. It really is a challenge for us. The industry hasn't had a particularly prominent image among the young folks today. We think there's a great story to be told. We think there's a great future for young people in our industry, and we all need to reach out and give that message or send that message out. And certainly, from my perspective, the future of your profession appears bright indeed. As this slide shows, your unique skill set will be needed in many areas, and I'm not going to go through each of those, but I'd like to urge all members to continue to commit to upholding the high standards of practice and to an ongoing professional growth and development to ensure that our industry's an enviable reputation for responsible forest stewardship, so critical to ensuring continued fiber to market access, is maintained. The forest products industry is on the move, heading in a new and exciting direction, and we invite college members to join us for the ride. It's been a real pleasure to be here today, and thank you for your kind attention. I even came in 10 minutes ahead of time, so that's probably the most important achievement that I've had today. Thank you very much, and I hope your conference goes very well.
Actually, we've decided that if anybody has any questions for Craig, they can ask them right now. We've got a little bit of time before we have to start the business section of our meeting. If there are any questions?
Thanks, Craig. Colin Campbell. Craig, one of your early comments was that Canada and Alberta was not competitive in the global market, and you alluded to some things you hope to change. But can you give us a sense of why we're not competitive, or what your comments meant there?
Well, I think what I meant by that was that the Canadian forest industry in general was lagging behind in a competitive position vis-a-vis the rest of the world. If you look at some of the markets, some of the products we're producing, newsprint, it's not only the markets that are declining, but some of the mills that are in that business in Canada were older and not been reinvested in and lost their competitive position. If you look at the hardwood pulp business, again, with the development in the South American markets of the eucalyptus pulp mills, brand new plantation-based pulp mills, our cost structure was out of line with those mills. always interesting to me that when you take people up to visit a sawmill, they go through it today, and they say, wow, because they've been in the business and have been out of it for a while, and coming back to see the sawmill and say, wow, this is not what I remember. You take people in that haven't seen sawmills before, they say, this isn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a whole bunch of people in here, you know, shoveling logs through saws. And indeed, as we've opened up Fox Creek Sawmill, or rebuilt, one of our biggest challenges was finding the technology, the technical expertise to manage the actual processing of the log. So I think I may have given you a misconception. I thought Alberta was uncompetitive. I think Alberta within Canada was probably the most competitive part of the country. And certainly as we go forward, I see that being the case as we go forward. I don't know if that answered your question entirely, but the industry, the other thing that the industry, by virtue of its economic situation, has not put a lot of money into research and development over the last 20 years. And it's struggled in terms of finding ways and means of reinventing itself and moving itself forward. I think that the initiatives of FP Innovations, FPAC, and now the Alberta Roadmap process, again, are indicative of the determination in the industry to take up that cause once more. And we've got terrific research facilities in this country that are available to us. Alberta Innovates here in Edmonton. We've got FP Innovations. These are groups that are staffed up with expertise that we can take advantage of and should take advantage and are taking advantage of. Any other questions? Yep.
What are your thoughts on attracting young people?
Well, that's a really, really good question, and it's one for which I don't claim to have an entire answer. I think we have to get the message out that this is not a sunset industry, that it's not a smokestack industry, that it's not, you know, an industry based on brawn, that indeed there's a lot of exciting new technologies that are been introduced into the industry and will be introduced in the future. It's an opportunity for young people to get into an industry that has had a history of stability, at least in this province. The oil and gas goes up and it goes down. Forestry has been there plugging along through thick and thin for the last 100 years, and 100 years from now we're doing the same thing. I think we have to take the message that we are a green industry. And the young people today, from my perspective, are environmentally sensitive. And I think if they understand just how green this industry is, and I'm not at all unwilling to stand here and say we are the greenest industry in this province, that we can attract people to that. I think the fact that we can, not everybody's going to be attracted to some of the things we have to offer. I spoke of being able to live in smaller little towns with easy access to the great outdoors. That doesn't appeal to everyone, but I think there is a segment of young people that does appeal to. Not having to commute an hour and a half to a job site, not having to live in a camp. I think that the demographic that we should be targeting is that 25 to 40-year-old group that's starting to raise a family, that wants some stability. We provide good incomes. This industry pays well relative to everything other than oil and gas. But it is a good, stable, well-paid, professional, high-tech, challenging industry. Getting that message out to the young people. I think Work Wild has done a great job in the high schools. We as a company are now starting to participate in more job fairs, where we're trying to bring the message of the industry into the secondary school systems. There's a lot of things that we can do. I don't have a single, easy answer for that, because it's going to be tough. Every industry is facing a labor shortage, and this industry hasn't had a real sexy appeal in the recent past, and we've got to somehow recapture a bit of that through, I think, the greening issue and stability, and the fact that we're well paid and can offer some really interesting technical challenges.
So we have time for one more question. Anybody's got a question?
Regarding carbon credits, like, do you have any thoughts on how our industry can get more carbon credits? Like, because of operating on public land, we're kind of limited that way.
Again, a really good question. I think the whole issue of carbon credits, carbon taxes, and so on, one can talk about that at great length. I said the short answer to your question is no. I don't have any really great
Okay, before I call our business meeting to order, I'd just like to once again thank Craig for being our opening address. I think it kind of sets a tone for today and gives us all a lot of food for thought on you know, our industry moving forward, what needs to happen in some cases, and hopefully kind of gives us all ideas on how we can work to improve you know, the image of our sector and try to get more people into working in our sector. Okay, so I'm going to call the 2013 CAPFT AGM to order. And of course, first order of business on the agenda is housekeeping items. Since I'm standing up here, I'll go through that. I'll save David and having to come up and walk through all those. So the first set of portions of the housekeeping items are we'll deal with you know, kind of the safety meeting sort of stuff. So fire exit is out the back. So south doors, main doors out the back, through the other doors outside, and we will muster. There's a large light standard in the parking lot, just to the southeast of the doors which go up. That'll be our muster point. Fire extinguishers are at the back corners of the room and the front corners of the room. And washrooms for the ladies are on the northeast side of the room, and for the men it's on the northwest side. When we're doing coffee and lunch, please try and exit through the southeast door and then come back in through the door that has the buffet room on it. If everybody tries to go through that double door, this is how the tables are set up, everything gets congested. So. And yesterday I was walking through there a couple times going the wrong direction and I almost got soup on me. So. At the back, you can see a whole bunch of posters up on the wall. Those are the terms of references for the committees that we need some members and some support in. So there's sign-up sheets at the back. If you have any questions, you can come talk to Chanel or myself or any of the other council members about what those committees entail. We need about between 12 and 16 volunteers this year for this committees, and that's not including the openings on council. CIF was here yesterday doing a silent auction for forest without borders, and there's a few people that won the silent auction. So Jared Whitford, you won. Sandra Hayward, you won. Andy Gessner, you won your item, and Christine Honesty, you won your item. So what you need to do is go over and see Danielle Lucier, that's her there, and give her some money, and she will give you the item. Okay, two other items before we get on the housekeeping. First off is Jordan Fellner with Hub International. He's at the back. He'll be giving us a presentation in the afternoon about professional liability. He is the CAPFT insurance broker. He's going to be very rushed after he does his presentation to catch a flight. So if you have any questions about errors and omission insurance, what it covers, or general liability, what they offer, or forest fire liability insurance, go see Jordan and try to see him before he does his presentation. And the last order of business is door prizes. We'll be doing door prizes throughout the day, right when we come back from breaks. So there's door prizes from Greenland Forestry, Stonefish Rentals, Timber North Consulting, the hotel, and there's two other ones I can't remember who gave us the gift basket and the other mug. So ATV, okay. And the final door prize of the day is a personal GPS unit from Garmin. So it's worth about $200. So stick around if you want that. If you're not here, you don't get it. And that's the same with all the other door prizes. And same thing is that if you're not in the room when we call your name, you're not getting the door prize. So, okay? Okay, so, next order of business, let me get to the agenda. Okay, I'd like to introduce our special guest for today. I don't know if Tracy Cove has showed up yet. I haven't seen her yet, so, well, Tracy is a recipient of the Force Technology of the Year Award, so that should be here a little bit later. Chris Clement from the Alberta Society of Professional Biologists, so if I call your name, just maybe stand up and, right over there, okay. Chris, what is your title, sorry? I tried to find you this morning,
I'm actually the president-elect, so I'll be president of the society in 2014. And interestingly, I'm also originally a forest technologist out of BCIT many years ago.
Oh, that's excellent. There you go. There's a bit of a link. So, going along that lines, some of the messages you will hear today is, quite interesting how all of these natural resource professions kind of flow over top of each other and work together. So, Bruce Mayer, Assistant Deputy Minister of the Forestry Division, was supposed to be here today, but he couldn't make it. Roger D. Champlain, the Nate Forest Technology Chair, was supposed to be able to attend, but due to Nate's business, he wasn't able to attend. So I'm going to actually handle his presentation in the afternoon, so that's probably going to be a little bit dry. I'm just going to be reading off of his notes, and I am familiar with what's going on at Nate, but I don't have a lot of the answers. So, Melanie Terrian from Asset, she's the registrar. There. Bob Anderson, CAPFT or CAPF president. Right there. Grant Williamson, which is the CAPF transformation director. Doug Kristoviak, which is the executive director and register of CAPF. And John Pino, the CAF CEO. Okay, I forgot one housekeeping item actually, or two. Cell phones, turn them off, put them on vibrate, we don't want to ring. Yeah. And the second thing is, through the rest of the day, whenever there's a question period or you're addressing the chair or the sergeant of arms, when we're going through and doing votes and bylaws, there are going to be two individuals out there with microphones, Tyler Kennedy and Captain Percival over there. Wait until you get the mic, because we need to be able to get all this on audio so that we can do up the minutes afterwards. Okay? So wait until you get the mic, until you have the floor to speak. Okay? Can we, Carson, can we get the PowerPoint up? Or the, yes. So, moment of silence for our deceased members. Roger Light, or Gerald Light, Bill Cooper, and Brian Wesloziak. And two honorary members, Michael Millar and Fran Appelier. Michael was, I'm not exactly sure, I know he was associated with Nate. I think he was Nate program head for quite a few of our older members. Remember him. I know Dave does. And Fran was our executive assistant for numerous years at the college, and she was a great asset. So can we have a moment of silence for our deceased and party members? Okay, thanks. I'd like to call on Jared Whitford to come up and go over the rules of order, or the meeting rules, order and procedure, and he's going to be our
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jared Winkbird, as Pat mentioned. I'm going to briefly go over a few procedures here for the AGM from this point forward. This is my first time as Sergeant at Arms, so if I need to speak up at the back, just put up your hand and tell me to speak up. And if there's anything I'm missing, feel free to just put me back on track here. So I thought I'd start off by just starting off with the procedure. The chair, Pat, will make a move, whether move to accept certain minutes or accept certain documents or to make a change. At that point, it'll be open to the floor for discussion. If you have a question, please direct it towards the chair. We ask that you stand up, raise your hand. I'll acknowledge you, and Kelton or Tyler will come over with a microphone. We ask that you state your name and the company that you work for. And then at that point, it'll be for open discussion. The person that asked the question will have the first and last comments on the question. Once this discussion is completed, it will go to a motion. And once the motions are debatable, it's basically a proposal for consideration of the meeting. Once voted on and accepted, it will be adopted. For the purpose of the AGM, any motions in regards to college business, change of bylaws, and requesting to be put in by writing in the past. So we're voting on things that are being presented today. And like I said, to obtain the floor, if you're making a motion, you stand up and state that I move that we adopt the changes, for example, in the minutes as accepted. And then once accepted, once seconded, the chair will accept the motion. Motions will, as the mover, like I said, you'll have the first and last say, and please direct it towards specifically to the chair. Once the motions are completed, it'll be voted on. Rules for voting: who can vote? Any registered member of the college can vote that has not been suspended or canceled. Shall have the right to vote at the AGM at this meeting. Votes must be made in person, so you can't make a vote on behalf of someone else that is not here. Anyone seconding the motion to accept the previous year or accept last year's AGM minutes has to have attended last year's AGM. And again, to vote, it's the same process. Raise your hand. If someone else has the floor, please wait your turn until that person is finished. I'll acknowledge you, and then with a nod or a point, and then you can vote for your motion. And I think that's pretty much it. Anything else to add on that regard? Sure.
So, just to go through the steps real quickly again. Me as the chair, I will ask for a motion from the floor to accept whatever order of business that we're dealing with. There will be a seconder. Then after there's a seconder, there will be a period for discussion. If there's a discussion and we decide to make changes to whatever order of business we're dealing with, then we will vote on that section of business with the amendment. And I believe the other thing is that it has to be 2/3, isn't it? Right, for a business cap. I didn't know if you said that or not. I wasn't really listening the whole way, so sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the first order of business is that we'll be reviewing and adopting the AGM agenda. So can I have a motion from the floor to adopt the AGM agenda as it stands right now? Andy Gassner?
I make a motion to adopt the minutes.
Seconder? Chris? Okay. Chris Dolly? Okay, any discussions? Butch?
In light of our
Well, let's wait.
I put up my hand too. In light of our past president, Mike Vicente, being urgently required somewhere else this morning, I make the motion that we move a part of our agenda forward to as quickly as possible. The piece of agenda that comes up
recognition to be right before the morning health break, so right after Derek's presentation on finance. Is there any other discussion? Okay, I'd like to vote on yeah, well, Dan Chris had seconded. We don't have to second the discussion, we just have to amend, so. So I'd like to vote on the adoption of the AGM agenda with the amendment to move the presentation of the recognition award to Mike Vicente before the health break. All in favor, say aye. Maybe we should be raising hands. Yeah, so I used to do this at the council meeting. So all in favor, raise your hands. Yeah, it's 2/3, okay. All against? Raise your hands. Abstain? Okay, passed, or carried. We need really 2 mics, because I don't know if I should be going through all this, but since I'm here, I'm a mic hog, so you'll get sick of my voice by the end of the day. Anybody that knows me knows I love to talk and don't shut up, so. Okay, so, the adoption of the 2012 AGM minutes. I'd like to have a motion from the floor. Remember that